Alright, in this session we're going to go through devices that you might see within your store. This is an example of your cable modem. This is where the internet comes into and connects to the WatchGuard firewall. This is the actual device that we're going to be replacing as part of the security upgrade project. These boxes here represent different switches that connect to the different areas of your network. We've got a point of sale or register switch. We've got a back end or store switch. And then we have a DVR/security switch. These switches may or may not be labeled, so we'll have to identify them by how they plug into the WatchGuard firewall. In addition, each store will have a cradle point router for cellular access and an open mesh Wi-Fi adapter that will be taken out as part of the install. So before we start removing any cables or anything, what we want to do is plug in the new FortiGate device into power and verify that the power light is lit and the status light is lit. That'll cut down on the amount of downtime we have to take because the firewall will be ready to go as we move cables into it. So the next thing we're going to do is label the cables that are in the existing WatchGuard firewall to help tell us what ports they need to plug into on the new FortiGate firewall. And this makes it easy for us to move the devices as well as put the devices back in case we have some sort of issue. So if you're looking at the back of the WatchGuard, again, the ports start on the left with port 0 and go to port 5. So we're going to be labeling each cable because the cables are going to come out and those same cables are going to plug into the FortiGate firewall. So we'll start with the cable that's plugged into port 0 on the WatchGuard. That's going to plug into WAN 1 on the Fortinet and is connected to our modem where the internet comes in. So we can just apply the label. And we'll move on to port 1. Port 1 should connect to the switch that represents our register or point of sale machines. That will plug into port 1 on the FortiGate. The next is port 2 on the WatchGuard. That connects to our store network or back office network. That will plug into port 2 on the FortiGate. And then the third cable, or port 3, fourth cable, port 3 on the WatchGuard connects to our cradle point router. That will connect to WAN 2 on the FortiGate. And then the last port, port 4 on the WatchGuard, connects to our DVR or security network. That will plug into port 5 on the FortiGate. At this point, we're ready to remove the cables from the WatchGuard that we've labeled and connect them to our Fortinet device based on how we've labeled each cable. We'll start with port 0, which is our internet port. That's going to connect to WAN 1 on a FortiGate. Next, we'll move to port 1 on the WatchGuard. That's going to connect to port 1 on our FortiGate. Port 2 on the WatchGuard, according to our labels here, is going to connect to port 2 on the FortiGate. Port 3, which connects to our cradle point here, is going to connect to WAN 2 on our FortiGate. And port 4 on the WatchGuard is going to connect to port 5, according to the label, on our FortiGate. Okay? After moving all of your cables to the Fortinet, we'll want to reset your wireless phones. To do that, we find the Panasonic brain box here, and we're just going to unplug the network cable and make sure the green light goes off, and we'll plug it back in, and that device will reset and the green light should come back on. I'll do this. The next thing we want to do is connect your new wireless access point. To do that, we'll take the orange dot labeled devices and we'll plug into the back of the access point where it says Ethernet, and then we'll connect this to port 4 on the new FortiGate device, and you'll see that lights will come up. So after about a minute, all of your lights will be green and you know that your wireless is activated. Next, we'll want to remove the old mesh wireless. We can do that by simply unplugging the device and making sure all the lights are off, at which point it can be removed. For desk phones, what we'll want to do is go to the back and find the power. We can remove power from it for approximately 5 seconds and re-add power. This will cause the phone to reboot. When the phone's back up, you'll see the extensions on there, as well as you can test dial tone. Now that we've tested the register machines, the store machines, wireless, and all the phones, we can pretty comfortably remove the WatchGuard firewall from its mounting position, and then we'll want to mount the FortiGate up appropriately so it's not pulling on wires and things like it is now. So depending on how your WatchGuard is mounted, each store has been slightly different up to this point, but this one just has a bracket. It's able to slide up and out, and we can take it off. We mount the device.